This video will cover how to upload media onto Morphosource via the batch upload submission form. This, of course, is after you have created an account and after you have become a contributor. We ask that you please upload 2 or 3 media manually in order for you to become familiar with the fields that you are required to fill out. With batch uploading, you're filling out a spreadsheet and giving us the information that we ask during the manual submission. Once you've become comfortable with the manual submission, you are ready to use our batch submission format. Next, you will email us at morphosource@duke.edu to start the process to get batch submission access. You should include some details about what you will be using the batch submission for, and you will then receive a DukeNet ID. This will allow you to connect to the Morphosource server. You will receive instructions as to what the address of the Morphosource server is, and you will be given some instructions as to what needs to be done next. You will then need to get an SFTP client. That's a secure file transfer protocol client. We suggest using CyberDuck or FileZilla. These are free softwares that will allow you to connect to the Morphosource server. What this allows is for you to transfer files from your computer onto the Morphosource server. You are just transferring files from your computer onto the server. After you've been approved for batch submission and after you've gotten your SFTP client, you will see this button here, batch submission, at the very bottom of the gray bar in your dashboard. Clicking on this button, you will be guided into the batch submission form. There are 2 parts to uploading and batch submission. You need to fill out a spreadsheet with all of the metadata for your media and all of the information regarding the media, but then you also have to fill out this batch submission form on the Morphosource website. Please take note that for each submission, you are only allowed to select 1 specimen organization and 1 device organization. This means that if you have lots of specimens from different museums that were scanned in different ways, they need to be grouped so that all of the media that is being uploaded in one spreadsheet, all of the specimens need to come from the same organization and they need to be scanned the same way. This might mean that you have several spreadsheets to upload, and that's fine. You will also notice that the ownership and permissions fields are available here on the website and not on the spreadsheet. Next, you will download the blank submission manifest from the website. That is available here. Here's what the spreadsheet looks like. There's 7 different sections to this spreadsheet, and they're all separated out by their own color. This is a lot of fields that seems intimidating, but since you've already manually uploaded media onto Morphosource, a lot of these fields you've already seen. Let's break down the different sections. Now, the order of this spreadsheet is a little different from what you've seen on the manual upload protocol. This spreadsheet was ordered in a way that the most important information is being input first. Instead of having to scroll left and right in order to fill in particular information, the most important information is at the beginning. I'm going to break down the 7 sections using an example of a filled out spreadsheet. The very first section is asking you about the media itself. Here, the very first 2 columns that you're going to fill out are the media file and the media preview file if you have it. Here you will put the name of the file that is going to be associated with this particular row. The file name here needs to match how it appears on the SFTP server. So here, these are the files that I will be uploading, as well as the preview files that I am associating with this media. Next, I've been asked what the media type is. This is the very first question in the manual submission, so this is already familiar to you. Next, it's asking if it's raw or derived. Again, this question is the very first page of the manual submission, so this is already familiar to you. This next section here is asking you to fill out information regarding the specimen. It's asking for the Morphosource ID in case the specimen is already on Morphosource. It's asking you for the IDIC-Bio information, either the UUID or the occurrence ID. And then it's asking you to fill out the institution code, collection code, catalog number. These fields will be used to match any records already on Morphosource or already on IDIC-Bio. Next, you're filling out information regarding what is inside the media itself. So what section of the specimen was scanned? Is this a meteorite? What is it? That information will be filled out here. Then, since I am uploading CT media, it is very important that you fill in the pixel spacing units for the X, Y, and Z. You will be asked what the value is as well as the units. Now, because I've already uploaded some manual CT media, I know that these fields are required during the manual submission process, so they are also required during the batch upload process. And then again, you see biological specimen information. And this section is for filling out a completely new biological specimen record. Now, during the manual upload process, you know that you have the option to either search Morphosource or search IDIC-Bio for a record that has already been created. And if you don't find a record, you then have the option to create a new specimen record. That is what this section is for filling out the information completely new. So the URL, if the specimen has a URL on your museum database, information about its periodic time, location, if it's a type specimen, if it's vouchered, all that information will be filled out here. And the catalog number, institution code, and collection code will be grabbed from the second section that we saw. Next, you're being asked about the taxonomy, so you fill that out. In this example, it is all the same specimen, so all of the fields are going to be the same, but you can have several specimens here as long as they are from the same institution and scanned with the same exact device. Next, we're being asked about the imaging event. You will be familiar with this because you've done manual submission. You're being asked about the software, exposure time, calibration, shading correction, and these are fields that I have filled out because I am uploading CT media. The imaging event fields differ depending on which modality it is that you are uploading. During the manual upload submission, you select your modality at the beginning, and then the fields are curated for the specific modality you chose. That's not the case with the spreadsheet since it has to be one size fits all. So you will fill out your required fields for your modality because you know they're required fields based on the manual submission that you've already done. These fields here all match the fields available for the imaging event for your particular modality. You just need to find the ones that are specific to your modality. And then finally, we're at the processing event information. This is a little different than what you see in the manual upload submission because you don't have the option to select several steps. Those several steps would be filled out under event description. And that's it. We've gone through the 7 sections of the batch upload spreadsheet. Once this has been filled out, I will go back into Morphosource to the batch submission form, and I will be filling out these particular fields here. Now remember how you have to group the media based on the institution from which the specimens come from and the device that was used. This is because some institutions have chosen to manage their media on Morphosource. When museums choose to manage their media on Morphosource, they get the option to fill out their own ownership and permissions. Here's an example. The AMNH Mammal Collections has chosen to manage their ownership and permissions. So if I were to select that my media are coming from an AMNH specimen, after selecting my institution, these recommended fields are already filled in. Those are the fields that have been selected by the AMNH Mammal Collection staff. Different museums will choose different settings, so this is why you need to group the media in the batch submission spreadsheet. You need to group it by institution and device. Now, the media that I am uploading is from our own evolutionary anthropology department here at Duke, and so I will be selecting that for my institution. I will then select the device that we use to scan this media. That is here at Duke. If you're a proxy uploader, this field will be available for you to fill in. I'm done with the left side. Now on the right side, I have to fill out the ownership and permissions. This should be filled out in a way that the specimen managing institution has decided on. For the purposes of this tutorial, I will be leaving these fields blank, but it is recommended that you please fill them out. Of importance here is the IP holder, copyright statement, and license information. If the collection of your media was funded in any way by your institution or by the NSF or by a particular research group, you would fill out the information and their funding attribution. The Cite As field is for you to fill out how you would like a user to cite that they've used your media. So that's what these fields are here for. Next, you have the option to add all of the media in this spreadsheet in this batch submission into a project. After your fields have been filled out, you are going to choose the spreadsheet file to attach to this submission form. This file here is my filled out spreadsheet, so I'm going to select it and attach it. Now, after I have checked that all of the information here is correct, I'm going to press submit. Morphosource site does a pre-check on the spreadsheet to make sure that all of the information in the fields are valid. Thankfully, the columns with the problems are highlighted for me to be able to know what needs to be fixed. So after I go back and fix the spreadsheet, I'm able to press submit again. You will see that the information here is blank again. We are working on making it so that what you select at first stays available to you after you have received errors. So we'll fill this out again. Now I've checked that my left column is all filled out and my right column is all filled out. Again, I'm leaving these fields empty for the purposes of the tutorial, but please fill them out yourself. I will go in to choose my file. And this time around, I'm selecting a file that I know will not give me errors. After pressing submit, I see this message here that says, my form successfully passed validation. Now I am ready to proceed with ingest. The more media that you have to upload with batch submission, the longer this is going to take. So please be patient. You will receive an email notification letting you know that the batch submission has started, and then you will receive an email notification letting you know it is done. So that is it. That is how you upload media through batch upload submission.